there, and 3-minute countdown is in effect.
It still didn't work, did it?
Well, I can't see you anymore.
So, guys, Alex, I imagine you're going to like kick off, give direction, things like I'll just kind of play backseat.
No, you're just going to get totally thrown to the wolves, Kevin.
Hey, man, that's literally the way I've been my whole career. So
we're live on Facebook now, by the way, guys.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm gonna come back into it real quick.
Okay.
Because I don't know what's going on.
Kevin, you should get a updated photo, man. You've lost so much weight.
I was thinking that the other day when I saw that. I actually just had to have some new shirts and things sent over. I was like swimming in them. I'm telling you.
Is that good?
I can't tell because I'm just looking at the
okay, gotcha.
starting graphic here. We'll find out in 1 minute, 20 seconds.
From my angle, it looks like it reset everything.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Still very bright, though.
I think that brightness is pretty good. So, at least the way it shows on my monitor. Got the right lighting going on.
Where is... There it is.
I'll get your move.
I was going to say, how does Jeff find a quiet spot at the dealer? Yes.
What's
Tells
that?
all the customers to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my office is like back in a corner.
All right, 10 seconds.
I gotta go through one office to get to my office. Then I've got a door that shuts.
Here we go, guys. And we are in full effect. Full face.
No, I got a new monitor, new webcam.
Ooh.
I'm just missing that mic.
We'll send you one.
Yeah. I'll have to get my setup going there.
Yeah, it's 1950s style or bust.
Are you working from home a lot, Kevin?
Yeah, I've been working from home for like the past couple of years now. So even before the pandemic.
Great. So you really have no excuse to have a good setup.
Yeah. I did just move. So I've been in my new house for 2 weeks. So we're still getting unpacked and settled. But yeah, definitely going to have to get an improvement set up here.
Where'd you move to?
Just down the street, still in right outside Burlington, Vermont. Actually,
Okay.
a few minutes from Alex, ironically.
Yeah, he's like in my backyard. Yeah, and congrats on the move, by the way, and the kid.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, daughter's 5 months old, and my son just turned 2. So you can imagine the transition with them. Totally underestimated how hard it would be moving that family into the new house, the showings, and selling a house. But we're here, we're done. So now it's just enjoy. So
Yeah, it's a challenge.
At least you don't have to do the challenge of remote schooling. Yet.
yeah. God bless us. Yeah, I'm glad my wife and I were just talking about that. We're like, at least our kids are young right now, because I can only imagine the added hurdles there.
How are your kids doing with it, Alex?
Well, so the young one, the 4-year-old, is actually going to daycare. So He's
Oh, okay.
mostly unaffected, but the 10-year-old started 5th grade, and he's taken after me because 5th grade was a really bad year for me, and it's the first week, and he's already proving it's going to be a rough one. He was Rick-rolling his class on the first day, so these Zoom meetings.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So
Nice.
teachers already got it out for him.
You have a little setup at the house and everything for the schooling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we didn't start to. We had to. Tried to get him in the dining room for a little while there, and then it was just tough. So we basically put him in a corner at a desk with nothing that could distract him, and
No distractions.
Yeah. I'll find out when I get home today how well that's working.
Good luck.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, Kevin, why don't you give us a little bit of background on your history in the automotive sector?
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. First, just want to say thanks for the invite. I've been following DealerRefresh for years now. Coming up on my 10th year with Cox Automotive. Started with Dealer.com. So I like to say I got in one of the best roles for the time. Was my entry-level role was really launching all of the SEO and pay-per-click advertising for Dealer.com. And it was during the boom, like 2011, 2012. I can remember, if we were launching, let's say 10 campaigns a day, Dealer.com was selling 20 campaigns a day. So it was just constant work and churn. But it was awesome learning the back end of SEO strategy, how to actually look at what markets to target, the search volume behind things. From there, did that for a few years, transitioned into account management, which was one of the best moves for me because I love dealerships. I love the people side of the business. My favorite part of the job still today is getting into analytics with clients, with dealers, helping them uncover opportunities. My famous line I've always said is all we really need to do is invest where we see success, right? Reallocate the money, the time, the effort to where we can prove we're getting a good return on investment. So still great friends with a lot of those clients I had 6-7 years ago, which is fantastic. Naturally in that account manager role, uncovering opportunity leads to sales in a lot of times. So transitioned into sales. My first 2 years in sales was Directors Club winner, President's Club winner. Found a lot of success with sales, and a lot of people were asking me in the company, what are you doing that's working so well? And for me, it was always analytics. I was like, dealers they're numbers guys. They understand the number side of the business, not really the art side of SEO and how ambiguous that conversation can be. So just boil it down to return on investment. That led to me actually, which another fantastic experience was I was the product manager for analytics across Kelley Blue Book, Autotrader, and Dealer.com. So that was a few years ago when we were actually building out the new Envision analytics dashboard for Autotrader and Dealer.com, Kelley Blue Book today. But the coolest project that we worked on that's still like the foundation to a lot of my approach today is really understanding quality online. So one of the big projects was building a quality algorithm that measures every visit to the website, to a Dealer.com website, 0 to 100, 0 being a total waste of time. Person showed 0 engagement, 100 being they're already in your CRM, looked at multiple VDPs, showed a lot of buying signals. And that uncovered a lot of key findings for me that I still use. A great stat for dealers today is, what that algorithm showed us was that 30 to 40% on average of all traffic going to a tier 3 website didn't show a lot of buying signals. They were on the site for less than 3 seconds. They'd never looked at a VDP. They're not saving vehicles in shopping carts and clicking through photos, things like that. So it allowed me to really focus my effort and my time with clients on the traffic that mattered. So I Jeff and Alex, visits to websites aren't created equal. Some visit is going to show way more buying signal and be more low funnel. Someone else might actually be in the wrong spot and have accidentally clicked an ad.
And Kevin, were you seeing on that engagement topic and talking about tier 3? So what kind of different engagement behaviors were you seeing between tier 2 and tier 3? And
Well, what the goals we had with the tier 2s and tier 1s that we were working with was really to funnel and track the shopper from tier 2 to tier 3 and see what kind of engagement we would get on tier 2, and then what did that lead to on tier 3? What landing pages were best to deep link them to from tier 2 to tier 3? Things like different examples like that, measuring that engagement. But it becomes so much easier for a dealer when you have one metric that measures quality, right? You're not talking bounce rate, time on site, photo engagement rate, and all of these custom conversions and goals in Google Analytics. It's one metric that a dealer can go to in an analytics dashboard and just see 0 to 100, and they can filter all of their referral channels to what's driving the most quality visits, not just the most visits.
And what would you define as a quality visit when you were looking at these things?
Someone showing buying signals, easiest way to put it. The analogy I use with dealers is if we're all car salesmen on your lot and we look out on the floor and there's two shoppers, right? One shopper's quickly scanning the aisle, they're on their phone, showing little engagement. And then you look over and you see another shopper sitting in the driver's seat, playing with radio dials, moving the seat so it fits just right. If you're a commissioned sales rep, which shopper are you going to approach, right? The one showing more buying signals. And that's really the mentality I'm trying to help dealers understand online, is what visits are showing those buying signals, Alex.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, after the analytics role, I did that for a few years and basically moved on to be the director of digital marketing for Autotrader, which has been just fantastic over the last year and a half here, working with Jeff Stafford and the leadership team here. We've seen a lot of new added value with Autotrader, a lot of swings obviously in the market, and it's just been a really fun company to work for. So that's like my 9-10 years with Cox Automotive. And I know we had a little overlap there for a little while too, Alex.
Yeah, a few years.
Yeah, exactly.
You do you still get to work with Jay Macker?
Oh yeah, of course.
Good.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really excited. I'm still working with him.
Yeah, Jay's amazing.
Yep, he is.
Yep. Yeah, so I see Drew Immense already throwing some questions out there. He jumped on the what do you define as a quality visit, but now he's wanting to know what is a buying signal as defined by dealer.com.
So, I mean, without going into a whole hour around this, the way we started the algorithm and looked at it was we looked at all of these buyers in Vin Solutions CRM. And out of all these 1,000 buyers, what did they do on dealer.com websites leading up to actually purchasing a car? So we took all of those buying signals, the engagements, whether it's a form submission, whether it's clicking through all of the photos, whether it's putting a vehicle in a shopping cart, those buying signals that are not measured in a CRM. It's not a lead, right? But it's still an engagement that we want to track and give credit to. So there's an algorithm, obviously, that is in-depth, data science, PhD data science algorithm that I did not design. But that's basically what it's doing. It's measuring every visit and then the buying signals that it's taking on the website and then giving it a score 0 to 100.
Okay.
But what were some of those points of engagement that you were able to come to conclusion with? Like, what were a lot of those people that would make a purchase? What were they engaging with? Were they watching videos? Were they clicking on a certain amount of images? Obviously, a form fill is pretty high up there. But what were they doing within the VDP or the SRP that would signify that, hey, this customer is engaged enough and they are a high quality shopper?
The big one was photo engagement rates. And I think of myself too when I shop, right? I'm clicking through those photos multiple times. I'm watching the video. I'm engaging and eating up any content I can on that VDP. So a big one is the time on site, obviously, and without getting too into it, it's a logarithmic function. So we don't give immediate, like the value of the time on site does plateau over time. So if you just left a VDP page open and walked away from your computer, it doesn't just keep climbing, things like that. But multiple VDP views, a big one's saving vehicles in a shopping cart, thinking Amazon, right?
Would that be utilization of the Accelerate product? Is that what you mean by the shopping cart? Cool.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I mean, so you're thinking of, Accelerate, the digital retailing product. Mm-hmm. But what I'm referring to at the dealer.com days was the MyCars product, Alex. Okay. I'm sure you remember that.
Joe Costello's little.
I was to say, wasn't that Joe's little side project?
Yep.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, I think it won like best of product at NADA a few years back. But the philosophy of people are used to putting items in a shopping cart online. It was funny that automotive wasn't doing that at the time. So yeah, we want to be able to track and measure people showing those buying signals.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what you're saying is make sure dealerships still have great photos, because that's still one of the highest signals.
No matter what, it's so funny. It always comes down to merchandising. The vehicles is the foundation, right? You can have the best marketing. You can do all, like, if you don't get the right inventory and merchandise your vehicles correctly, you're going to have it's just going to be a steeper hill to climb.
What about customers clicking on your value reports or Carfax type reports?
Yep. So we track those in our new Envision analytics tool. So those will be metrics, buying signals that are tracked in our Envision tool that a dealer won't see reflected in the CRM, which is a big reason why we really promote our dealers using this free new product, so that they're measuring everything and that they're capturing those value events. And understanding that, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but majority of automotive shoppers aren't submitting leads in the first place. They don't like to identify online. So if you're only measuring activity in your CRM to measure return on investment, you've got a really small, limited lens into what's really happening online.
And what about some good old Cobalt map views?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to qualify those as a lead. We will definitely highlight that, yes, this referral channel did deliver X amount of map views. But I've always said a lead is something tangible, right? Name, email, phone number, something that I can actually reach, someone I can reach out to, not an engagement. Huge difference there.
That was always my favorite section of the report, was how many map views. We sent you 200 map views. Okay.
They counted that as 200 floor ups.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's actually a good, a funny point I always bring up with dealers is, what percent of floor ups do you have in your CRM? Because those are the people that did all the shopping online, educated themselves, and then decided to come in at your dealership and look at the car, right? Like, I've bought 3 new cars. I've never submitted a form. I've never called a dealership. I walked on the floor. They put me in their CRM as a floor up because they have limited technology that can actually identify what got me on the lot in the first place. So floor ups to me in a CRM is a hand that goes up that says there's an opportunity here to better understand what's driving customers to the showroom floor in the first place.
Well, Kevin, we don't usually start the show off with questions from the audience, but they're starting to really fly in. Perfect. So let's break habit today.
By the way, so if you don't share them with me, I won't see them.
Oh yeah, definitely going to tell you.
Okay.
So,
and I'm happy to, if we don't get to them on this hour, my email, kevin.lesage@Cox Auto Inc. I appreciate the one-on-one discussions too.
Cool. Y'all heard it. So Ely Duke, down in Suffolk, Virginia.
Mr. Ely.
Yeah. So this is a great question, actually. I'll ask it verbatim. How do you feel about banners on pictures, such as one owner, navigation? Are those now considered good or distracting?
This is like stealing my thunder to where I was going with it. So I think it is imperative today. And the reason I say that is one simple thing. When it comes to marketing a message for a dealer, there's 100 channels and a million different ways to do it. But it only matters if they land on a vehicle, right? So if I have a marketing message that I want every shopper that is searching my inventory to see, that's not on the slideshow on my homepage. Every shopper is not going to see that. Where that is in my DMS feed, right? So every 4 or 5 photos, I'm going to put an ad there. So as they're clicking through those photos, like we were just talking about with engaged shoppers, on that 5th photo, there it is, right? At home delivery with a photo overlay or whatever marketing message you want there. So I personally don't find them distracting as long as the marketing message is valuable to the shopper, right? It's not a message for the dealership, it's for the shopper. It should provide value to them.
Well, and it's not the same overlay on every single image that gets in the way of what the shopper's trying to find in the image.
That's a good point too. Yeah, that overlay you're thinking of every photo. I'm thinking of like as you're uploading your DMS feed, every 4 or 5 photos, just putting one specific ad in there. So that might be a good way to meet in the middle and not be distracting on every photo, but still get your message seen once they land on the car. And I think that's the important part.
Yeah. And here's a question from a guy you know. This is from Tim Kelly. Is there any valuable data off of the VLP? Or does anyone use a call to action off the VLP at all?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been testing call to actions on the VLP. I just think of it as an efficiency for the consumer, right? If I'm shopping, if there's a text button on a mobile and there's the car I want, I've already been looking at it for the last 60 days. I know I'm driving by the dealership and, I'm on whatever the situation. Yeah, ease of use for the shopper. But one thing that's always annoyed me on a VLP is when you start seeing like 8 call to actions and it's just pushing vehicles farther and farther below the fold. I think it's really important to not be distracting in that sense. And I'll quote my good friend Ben Hadley here that says, it's like called VLP or VDP vomit. It's like dealers just throwing up literally like 10 call to actions on one VDP, and that gets confusing to a shopper, right? So yeah, simplify the message, simplify the design on the VDP, shepherd the shopper where you want them to go into a clear digital retailing process or into whatever direction you want off the VDP. It's going to be a better user experience, and you're going to have a better performance at the dealership at the end of the month because of it.
Speaking of call to actions, are you able to see, are there any particular call to actions that are sort of outperforming right now at this time?
The one that's huge for us right now, and actually as an industry, I know we're not alone on this, is dealer home services. So through COVID, the big release that we brought to our dealers immediately, and I know other listings providers did as well, was the option for dealers to say, on your VDP, let's allow a customer to request one of 3 options: a video walk around, an at-home delivery, or an at-home test drive. And we have seen consumer engagement with that tool skyrocket through COVID. Obviously, dealers were reaching out. I mean, we have over 12,000 dealers right now live on that product. There's the consumer engagement is huge behind it, but I've been saying it's one of the best products I've seen to meet the needs of the consumer today. And what I mean by that is with COVID, you have shoppers scared to come to you. So we'll come, if you're not coming to us, then we're going to bring the dealership to you. So to me, Dealer Home Services was a really easy way to check the box for COVID pandemic and say, I'm going to create a new process at the dealership for shoppers that don't want to come in. But then got me thinking long-term too here is it solves today's problem, but it gives dealerships the biggest competitive advantage over the next couple of years moving forward. And what I mean by that is for the last 10 years, I've been talking to dealers, and every single dealer is the same in the sense that they're looking for a unique advantage that the other dealers around them don't have, right? And the biggest stat that I've been like hung up on lately is 70% of American automotive shoppers do not know dealers are offering these at-home services, like test drives at home, vehicle walkarounds. And if you're trying to improve consumer experience at your dealership, and people are surveyed saying they don't like coming in and spending a whole Saturday there, to me, this is an opportunity to really double down on a merchandising message saying, we do video walkarounds, we'll drop the car off for you for a 2-day test drive, put your kids' seats in the back, take your wife out for dinner. You don't have a car salesman breathing over your shoulder, kind of judging the way you're driving, your hands at 10 and 2. God forbid it's a manual, and you're worried about that. There's all these little variables. So for me, at-home delivery, dealer home services is going to be a huge advantage for dealers moving forward. I've seen the data with consumers engaging with it more and more over the months. And I think imagine being the dealer in 3 years trying to get into the at-home delivery game when all of your surrounding competitors have been doing it for 2 years. Here's a really good example that I know Alex will know. So in Burlington, Vermont, we have this huge company called SD Ireland. It's a concrete company. They own hundreds and hundreds of concrete trucks. But during the winter, those trucks get lit up with Christmas lights, and my wife calls them to the house, and we have cookies and hot chocolate with the kids in the neighborhood, and it's a really big deal, and it's really fun. but there's not a business in America or an industry in America that's more community based than your local car dealership. And I think of that dealer that's going to have a couple delivery trucks driving around town, picking up those marketing impressions, honking to the little kids, right? And if the way I would do it is I would have call tracking numbers all over wrapped around the truck. I'd be measuring the marketing engagement, right? But I'd make it really fun for my community. And then in conversations with dealers lately, I'll keep them nameless, but he was like, man, I hate that this is coming to the surface. I've been doing this for years, and I have my trucks programmed not to go above 63 miles per hour because I want them just slowly cruising through town, picking up those impressions. And to me, it's just a great way to kill multiple birds with one stone. You address COVID, you build a proactive process in the future that gives you a real competitive advantage. You're meeting customer needs where they want to be met. At their home, a more efficient way to shop. There's a lot of benefits there.
It's an interesting idea, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Although I would replace the phone number with maybe a QR code.
Especially on the cement mixer, so you run around. Whoa.
Well, you see those trucks, Alex.
Oh yeah. My kids love it. Yeah,
it's true. So I think rather than fight it, I think we can use it to our advantage, and we're going to see dealers do that, and it's going to be harder for those trying to catch up in the years to come.
Well, we got another question from the audience. This one's from Alan Cooper out in California. How much traffic are you seeing coming in via the app versus just straight off the website?
So we do. I will admit that I'm not close enough to give you like a concrete number and say X versus Y. But I will say that we still do see a lot of app traffic, a lot of VDP engagement coming in from the app. There is opportunity for us to better measure that and include that in some of our reporting. But I'd love to get him, Alan Cooper, those real answers, and I'll get you those percentages here. I'll try to follow up.
Speaking of Alan, we're trying to get him on a future Refresh Friday as well.
All right.
Yeah. He's always a fun one. Now this one might be a little more, a little bit of a tougher one. This is from Chris Leslie.
Always.
Yep. He's wondering why Autotrader gives preferred treatment to companies like Carvana.
So, I'm personally, we don't give preferred treatment, and I'm personally not the one managing the Carvana relationship. So I'm not, I don't want to speak to that. But what I will say is, we're always looking for new opportunities, better ways to serve our market, things like that. So I would, leave it at that.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's see. There's been a lot of comments coming in. We'll skip past these for a little bit now and let you get back to some of the things you were here to say.
All right.
Yeah. What exactly, other than the dealer home services, what else does Autotrader have cooking up?
So the cool things that we're doing right now, we have this new product, Analyze Live. It's a report, but basically what it does for a dealer, Jeff, you can log in and it shows you your top 10 vehicles that's getting engagement on Autotrader in real time. So it's a report that you don't have to refresh. It actually refreshes on its own. So you'll see it reload and say, this vehicle got a VDP view a few seconds ago, and it keeps that score and really that tally for you. But the best part about it is it shows you where on a map you're getting these impressions from, whether it's a VLP or a VDP. And what's helped dealers realize is that they have more market reach than they originally anticipated. People are shopping for vehicles far outside from where they live. Literally last month, my dad just boarded a plane to Pennsylvania from Connecticut to pick up a new Tacoma, right? I'm sure you see that, as dealers see it, people shopping from out of state all the time. So with this data, we're creating new products like Market Extension, where dealerships have the advantage now to say, I want to place my inventory, my dealership, like a brick and mortar, but virtually on a map in a different location, and I can start showcasing my vehicles outside of my market. So we're helping dealers understand where your inventory is going to be effective outside of your backyard. Allowing that local dealer to compete in the same ways like Carvana would, or more of a national national strategy with vehicle delivery, things like that.
So as long as they have the ability to deliver the vehicle, which realistically all dealerships do if they decide they want to do it.
They want exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the prerequisites to that product is you have to have vehicle delivery. But the interesting thing, like I'm sure every dealer is seeing now, is the pent up demand we've all experienced over the last few months is slowing down. I scanned my LinkedIn feed today, and it's just dealer after dealer celebrating record months. And Alex and I were talking about local dealers here we're seeing on the radio celebrating. But I look at the data regionally, and I've been doing a lot of like regional webinars with dealerships, and in every region that has plateaued and started to slow down. I've even heard of dealers saying at the auctions now pricing is getting a little bit back to normal. It's still aggressive, but getting better. So forgot where I was going with all of that. I kind of went on a little tangent there. What was the original question? Sorry.
Just talking about the new offering. Some of the new offerings with Autotrader.
Oh yeah, so
you're talking about the real-time analytics or real-time engagement reporting.
Yeah, so with these dealers now, we're helping them. Oh, so as things are slowing down, that's what I was in different markets. Dealers are looking for aggressive tools right now and ways to continue that momentum. Right, no one wants to admit it's slowing down. No one wants to see less money coming in. So they're looking for creative ways to get outside their market, and this is a great tool to help them do that. And we have a lot of data to support the decisions on where that inventory placement would be most effective.
What determines that for a dealership? Is it maybe the local town? That particular town doesn't have that Toyota dealership.
It could be that, yeah. Price to market for dealers, right? Understanding, the different strategies. Here's a good example, Jeff. You'll know if there's a dealer like nearby that is sleeping, right? They're not as aggressive. Their marketing strategy is not where it needs to be. And a lot of times it's the dealer telling us, this is where I want to put my inventory. I know I can do well here. And then we have some data to support that decision and really sit down with them, do an analysis, and make sure that, the numbers support that decision.
Cool.
There's some interesting stuff in the comments. I was just trying to keep up with it there. I guess there's somebody in Australia who's got an axe to grind here. Taking over the
what do you see when back to the call to actions thing real quick? Are you seeing anything here lately with email submission forms versus texting?
Oh, that's like the obvious one right now, in my opinion. I hope the dealers on this call are using texting, over email, just in the sense like texting has a 90% open rate. Right. If someone texts me right now on this webinar, chances are I'll still look over at my phone and make sure it's nothing critical. But email has a 30% open rate. So when I'm talking to dealerships and I'm looking at their analytics and I see that they're getting emails, but they're not getting any text messages, it tells me that they're not even using the product, because I know if they had it turned on that we would be seeing users engage with it. I've been working and speaking with Brian Pash for years now at his conferences, and he says it best, right? Like dealerships don't even staff their websites right now if you just have a form submission. You're literally telling a customer to come to your virtual storefront and fill out this form, and the dealership will get back to you when we're available, even though the customer is hot engaged right now. And you have dealerships spending a fortune on a BDC team or sales reps trying to re-engage that customer and get them back hot in that seat where they originally were in the first place. So with Autotrader over the last year, when I got in the role, I was really engaged with text, and it was an opportunity at Autotrader. And I'll share with you guys, the previous product we had, a dealer had to actually be logged in to our texting platform for the mobile call to action to actually appear on the VDP page. So if the dealer wasn't logged into the platform, the button didn't show on Autotrader. And unfortunately, as you can imagine, dealers weren't logging into the platform. So what did that do for Autotrader? It drastically impeded our conversion rate, because consumers want to text, but dealers weren't logging in to even have that call to action appear. So we've recently, over the last year, we rolled out a new texting managed chat and text program where we have a dedicated automotive team answering all of the chats and texts on behalf of our dealers. I mean, I was literally doing secret shopping on Autotrader VDPs, sending in a text to a dealer and never getting responses. And I think about it, that reflects poorly on Autotrader, right? That's happening on Autotrader.com. So in a sense, like, we were hurting conversion by not having VDPs optimized for text on mobile, and it was just killing our own brand when we weren't engaging with customers on our website, even though it was really the dealer who wasn't engaging. So it was a great opportunity for us to create a better consumer experience, get the answers to the consumers immediately. And what it did over the last year is it increased lead volume on Autotrader by 2.5 times the amount.
Wow.
So really excited about that, and especially because it was a product that we didn't charge for. It was a value add.
What about chat versus text?
I mean, we're still seeing more text versus chat. I'm a bigger believer in text over chat over anything. Just the ease of use. I mean, a lot of dealers now have it's a one-click button from your mobile VDP, and it just pulls up your SMS right on your phone, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, if I'm a dealer today, I'm making sure I have disclaimers on my VDP so I can text message leads that are coming in. I have call to actions with text on all of my mobile VDPs. And there's a huge opportunity there for dealers today, especially to work with companies like Autotrader, where we're going to manage those conversations for you and then send them to your CRM, ADF, XML, like any other lead that you're getting. So you don't have to change your process. A lot of dealers are doing more with less right now, right? Staff's been cut. There's been a lot of changes. So we're happy to take that on our plate and help create a little less work for our clients in that sense.
Has there been any challenges around that? I know, a lot of dealerships will outsource their chat, or they'll try and bring it in-house. Most dealerships that bring it in-house sort of struggle. But at the same time, you don't get quite the same response back, because whoever you're outsourcing it to is not going to have all that information at their fingertips.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, the goal is to get the information and hand it off, right, to the sales rep at the dealership. But what we did is basically we said, if you already have a chat text provider that you work with, you have a process built around, we're going to try to integrate with them first. But one of the big arguments I had was, if the chat still gets missed, we need a safety net. So if a chat or text is coming in and it's been 3-5 seconds, we need to be able to take it and answer those questions and not leave that consumer hanging. So
something's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. So for dealer, I mean, that's the easiest opportunity, in my opinion, if you're not already doing text and chat on your website or having your BDC reach out. Because, I mean, do you guys answer numbers from unknown numbers calling your cell? I mean, most people don't today.
I don't even answer numbers that I do know.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when it's mine.
Yeah. Or BDC reps, chasing down these customers calling from unknown numbers. And then you have the, we all know, if you form submissions that are just a roadblock to get the information a customer wants, you're going to get leads from Elvis Presley or, fake names that we've all seen. And, then that leads to the discussion of lead quality too, right?
Well, that's something I feel like the OEMs are neglecting right now. So anybody who's forcing map pricing, for example, dealers are trying to show a price the customers can actually buy, and then the manufacturer just wants the sticker up there. So, it's their. I'm just putting the grinder out there. There isn't anything the three of us can do about it, but.
My theory is, I mean, maybe I oversimplify things, but I always say to put the consumer experience before the lead. And what I mean by that is, a customer is on a website looking for information, right? Let's use the trade-in eval example. If I'm going to look for a trade-in evaluation on Kelley Blue Book, and I just spent 5-10 minutes filling out my VIN, the mileage, all this information, and then it says, give me your name, email, phone number, and we'll give you this information. That's where you get the form abandonment rate, right? And then you get people that just want the trade-in eval, so they're going to type in Elvis Presley and give you a fake email. And then again, you have these, dealers in the CRM, they're measuring cost per lead analysis. They're just looking at the volume. They're not looking at the quality of lead. And there's a huge opportunity to peel back some of those layers and get a better understanding of, great, we're getting this volume of leads, but are we getting them on the phone? What's the contact rate? What's the close rate? Things like that.
Well, I know a lot of times with the pricing rules, obviously you're not allowed to advertise a price, but you are allowed to give the customer a price quote once they've contacted you. I don't know if there's anyone out there integrating some type of instant price quote via text. And if so, do you have any dealerships doing that? And also with texting, do you guys have any numbers around text to sale?
I don't have those numbers. I think right now, like texting on the Autotrader platform year over year was up almost 300%, something like that. But I don't have the percentage like from text to sale. But I do. I mean, the numbers I'm sure would show that texting is going to have a better opportunity to get that consumer in your dealership, which is the goal, right? Set the appointment. So yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see that, but I don't have it.
Oh. So, Kevin, you have been coining a phrase called being in the eye of the storm these past few months. And we stole that from you today. Full credit. There it is. It's yours.
Okay.
And so we're on the backside. The eye may be passing over now. What are you seeing right this minute, and what are you forecasting for the next month or two? Well,
what I will say is, for another analogy, if what I've been saying, you take a garden hose and you crack a garden hose, you kink it, it stops water from coming out, right? But once you fix that kink, you see a surge of water, and then it slows back down to normal. This industry over the last few months has seen that pent up demand and that surge. And that's what I was referring to with LinkedIn and just seeing record month. And I just see all these dealers celebrating it. But then on the flip side, we know used auction prices are through the roof. New manufacturers have slowed down. So what I've been telling dealers is it's great to celebrate, but what's the plan moving forward? Because that plateau is a fact. I mean, it is slowing down in most markets. But from April to June, we were seeing leads per listing triple across Autotrader with the shopper engagement. And even during the pandemic, I mean, by the end of May, I think traffic on Autotrader into June was up 28% year over year. So we stayed pretty consistent through the pandemic, and then the shopper engagement came back stronger than ever. So yeah, I say the eye of the storm is everyone celebrating these record months, but it's the end of the year that I'm worried about, and that's why I think you see a lot of dealers now looking to get creative, right? They are starting to get used to that money coming in and the success, and now the tanks are slowing down. So the advertising strategies, the market extension products, better understanding your reach virtually, these are things that have been very attractive to the dealers I've been working with lately.
Yeah, it definitely seems like everyone's looking for a way to keep their customers engaged.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the article too, but I know the CDC was recommending that people actually drive to work by themselves, and corporations incentivize their employees to drive by themselves. So, I mean, we were seeing people that I might have been on your show here a few weeks ago, but people that have never bought cars before, like they didn't need cars in the city. They were coming in and they were accepting the first pencil. They had great money. They had great credit scores. They just didn't have the need for it before. But now they bought the cars, right? Like that's an example of this pent up demand, and you have to take advantage of it and strike while it was hot. And now that opportunity isn't here anymore.
Yeah, we should probably, also paint that a little further. Is that this was definitely happening around New York City. In big
I was going to say large cities.
Yeah, it probably wasn't so much so happening in the South, for example, maybe Atlanta. But yeah, there are a few commenters were saying they didn't really see that, and yeah, of course, not in a big city.
But those big cities that were affected the hardest are bounced back the strongest, and are actually like some of the ones that were showing the steepest growth from May, June, July. Philadelphia, New York City, LA. They came back real strong.
Yeah, I heard some of the numbers from like Paragon Honda. Sold a lot of Hondas.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
A lot of opportunity for dealer. I mean, change brings opportunity. So that was my favorite part throughout the last few months, is watching some of these dealers adapt. And hearing the story of your friend, the Volvo dealer, his name's skipping me right now.
Oh, Matthew Haken.
Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I watched his DealerRefresh with you guys, and I was like inspired by, he's like, yeah, curbside pickup, we did this, we did that. Took the sales desk out of the showroom floor because they were empty. It's just like find ways to get it done. So that's what I love about the industry.
Yeah, funny thing about him is he's now overrun in the showroom, so they're having a hard time keeping up with what's not happening in the showroom. Just trying to keep up with all the people who are busting down the doors because they've basically been cooped up for so long. Like, get me out of my house. Let me do something.
Yeah, and that was the objection I got a lot of the times with dealer home services. Is they're like, I've had more people in my showroom this week than I've ever had. I don't need to worry about delivery and things like that right now. And I get that, but it's not going to last forever, and you're going to be looking for ways moving forward, right? And I think, again, I just think, the ones that put that process in place now and are proactive are going to reap the benefits from that.
Yeah, it becomes a question of convenience. So if you can offer that convenience to somebody, and we had a commenter, John Singo, was pointing that out earlier. And his point was that if you can market that you're able to have these services, you might attract a few buyers who are still interested in that.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I think like Americans pay for convenience. I'm one of them, right? So yeah, if a dealership really did it, and that's the hard part, really did a good job of marketing that message through traditional TV, radio, print, it would be a blanket. It would take a lot of work and consistency. But once that shopper, it clicks for the shopper, and I don't have to go there on a Saturday, and they're going to come to me, and I can do a stress-free test drive, and I can get a better feel, and you're going to create a customer for life there. I mean, to me, that is a real competitive advantage to work with this Subaru dealer over the other Subaru in my area, right? Not just because they're best on price.
I'll tell you, share a little personal story. I think I'm just over 10 years in Vermont now, which also means I'm over 10 years living as a customer. I've never been a customer in my life until I moved up here. And the first time I was introduced to being a customer, it was at a Audi Volkswagen store. I had an Audi at the time. And they literally had in the service department, the service counter was there, and there was literally a red carpet for the Audi customers and no carpet for the Volkswagen customers. And the Audi service writer was dressed up a little nicer, was very nice, and it really presented, it was embarrassing almost being an Audi customer, seeing all these Volkswagen people lined up and sort of being treated like, you got a Volkswagen, you should have bought an Audi. It was kind of the message they were, it seemed like they were trying to convey. And it dawned on me at that moment that when I was a car dealer, I would have thought of doing something like that just because I wasn't thinking of the customer really ever.
Yep.
And this is me personally. I don't think this is true of all dealers, but this was me. And having been raised in a dealership, I was more focused on how do I make the skids greased easier for my people and my coworkers that I worked with every day, and how do I slide that customer through as easy for them, not thinking about, oh, well, it might take 6 hours for that customer to sit in the showroom to actually get a car and how annoying that is and that kind of thing. So home delivery to me as the customer now, and that kind of service where I don't have to go sit in the showroom, which I've had to do a few times now, and I'm like, oh, wow. This is not fun. It's very awkward. I'm really tired of trying to make small talk with this salesperson. I like the guy. I appreciate what he's doing and everything like that, and he's doing a good job. But we're just sitting here shooting the shit over stuff that's totally irrelevant when I could be, doing work or something productive. And I
think that's what it comes down to, right? Is time is money. And it's becoming more and more valuable too. Like, I will literally find an item on like Dix.com that is more expensive on Autotrader or on Amazon. Sorry, and I'll just go with the Amazon purchase because I trust them. They have my credit card. I know what experience I'm going to get, and there's brand loyalty there. And there's convenience, right? I don't have to think about it anymore. And I know the guy that's going to drop it. Like there's all, I know, I understand. I'm not going to get unknown hurdles thrown at me. So yeah, to your point, I think we could do a whole segment on all of the advantages for the shopper and putting the customer first in that situation. But then you get into the hurdles too. I've heard of like the guys putting the F&I managers in the delivery trucks and things, just trying to actually bring other elements to the dealership on that delivery too. So it's just like funny little things I've heard along the way with different dealers.
With your dealer home services, you said there were 3 different call to actions. Which one gets the most engagement? And quickly review what those three call to actions are again.
Yeah, the one that gets the most is the video walk around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the other 2 are the at-home delivery and at-home test drive. And
Okay.
I think that's really because you want to get the video walk around before the other 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Is my consumer opinion there. But if I wanted to see this used car and I know there might be a couple dings and I don't want to go drive in and look at it for myself, I can request that. And then the red flags that we're still seeing is some dealers getting those leads and calling and saying, when can you come in? Right. So then you go of like just shooting yourself in the foot off to the start there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Are there any solutions or processes that you've seen, best practices that dealerships are utilizing for those video walkarounds?
Yeah, devoting a single sales rep at the dealership that's familiar with handling those lead types and the process around it is a big one. We have a resource, b2b.autotrader.com/blog, where we've really added a lot of best practices, case studies, talk tracks, like literally like questions and answers for dealers to handle at-home delivery leads and things like that. So we have a lot of content for them to take right from there.
Cool.
There's a good little question here from Jeff Miracle. It's more of a feature request, I think. But he's wondering if Autotrader can take retargeting on social the next level by driving the customer back to the dealer's website.
Jeff, yes, we're doing that. We're measuring it. The performance is amazing. Right. If we're talking about retargeting waste off of tier 3, there's a lot of waste in traffic there, right? They're looking for a service. They're not even looking to buy a car. They're not interested. On Autotrader, that's a website designed for in-market shoppers. So when we retarget from there and then we measure the engagement back at the tier 3 site, it's fantastic, right? Photo engagement rates, time on site, bounce rate, everything we look for there, in most cases, in majority of cases, outperforms any other source of advertising we're seeing with that dealership. So I go in and I measure the UTM tags from different referral channels, and I can see our advertising versus their new campaign pay-per-click or their SEM campaign with whoever it is, based on the UTM tags. And then to connect some dots here, if it's a dealer.com client as well, we're using that quality algorithm to just put that 0 to 100 score against our advertising versus other sources coming in for dealers. So Jeff, follow up with me afterwards. I'd love to get into more detail with you around that.
Yeah, and other commenters, I apologize. There is somebody who is still taking over the comment stream a bit, and it's not worth getting into some of the things he's asking about or referencing. So it's hard to keep up with what's going on down there. So we'll hop back to
I don't see them.
Kevin's world. Yeah, you can check them out later. It's somebody in Australia where I think it's pretty
trolls.
early in the morning, like maybe like 2 a.m. or so right now, and might be enjoying some of the Fosters. So other Autotrader products, Kevin. You got anything in the cooker?
Oh, I mean, NADA's around the corner. There's a ton in the cooker. The big thing we're doing now is we're leveraging a lot more Cox Automotive Insights. So tracking through our identity, we have proprietary identity graphs across Cox, looking at the fact that Jeff Kirshner just went and did a trade-in eval on Kelley Blue Book. He was on an X-time service scheduler. There was a large cost to his car. He was looking at a trade-in eval. We just saw him on Autotrader 15 days later. We're mapping back and connecting all of those dots, and we're actually measuring the likelihood of households to be purchasing cars. And we can track the likelihood of someone buying a car. very well right now. That'd be, I'd be happy to get into detail, but 8 times more likely for our ready to buy segments versus our actively shopping segments. So basically segmenting households based on their activity across Cox Automotive, and we're customizing their experience around the web with personalization products, with different advertising solutions, things like that. So that's like, product wise, that's a big one. NADA is going to be pretty exciting this year, whether virtual or not. We'll see how that unfolds.
You got any insight on that one yet?
Other conferences are going virtual. Yeah, I did the one with Brian Pash, which was a great experience. My guess is it's going to be. I don't see a lot of people, I don't know. I'm not really the best to speak on it, but, there's definitely concerns. That's for sure. But another big thing that we've been working on for a while now that hasn't come up is we've been doing a case study. So I know you guys, and especially Jeff at the dealership, you guys are probably, dealers are sick of seeing the word case study and report, and vendors all saying, our products are the best, things like that.
Never.
And when we see other vendors come out with these studies, and we immediately get our analytics teams looking at them, and especially when we're involved, and we try to validate them. And there's a lot of times some pretty immediate red flags that we can identify. So one thing we've been trying to do to actually get a real answer around this is we looked at VinSolution CRM. So again, CRM that's capturing leads from all the different listings providers. And we looked at, we looked at over 6,500 dealers and analyzed almost just about 4 million leads to look at who's delivering the most leads, who's delivering the highest quality leads, what are the close ratio of the leads, are you getting them on the phone? And those studies we're doing every quarter now at Autotrader. So if any dealer on the phone wants more information, reach out to your account reps. We have all the data to support holistically where we're seeing quality from leads coming in. And Autotrader is based on our report. I'll bluntly say to everyone on the call, we didn't deliver the most leads, but we deliver the highest quality leads. Our close rate was 61% higher than our competitors when we looked at that case study. So I always joke with dealers that, 10 years ago when I was at dealer.com, a dealer would look at return on investment by how many visits did I get to my website. It would be a quantity metric, not a quality metric. That changed. So whenever I'm talking about lead quality with dealers and they're bringing up a metric has nothing to do with quality and it's all just the amount of leads we're getting, I know there's opportunity to get a better insight into performance and things like that.
Well, we have to ask. How do you measure quality?
Well, for leads, it's the close ratio. I mean, it's the easiest, right? It's it's one thing to get a lead, but how many dealers are chasing that lead and never getting that customer on the phone, right? I would say if I'm a dealer, I'm not measuring cost per lead. I'm measuring cost per engaged lead. Someone I was actually able to get on the phone, have a conversation with, answer their questions, things like that. And with that simple change, you're going to weed out a lot of the weak. You're going to find that waste, right? And I think that's always the goal for dealerships is when we wrote that quality algorithm for websites, we helped dealers weed out a lot of waste. We could see that they were spending money on marketing that was driving traffic, great, but that traffic never engaged, so no buying signals, and we were able to paint that picture through data. Now I see that shift really starting to happen in a CRM as well and starting to uncover the quality in the lead.
Gotcha. Well, we've got Ely Duke is got a burning question, and it's an important one. I hate to end the show on this one, so we'll try and get some more in right after. But NADA predicts a 2-year recession. Is Cox predicting anything similar?
I don't have the data. I'm not analyzing that data to speak to it. I know we have dedicated teams right now to figuring out what's best for the employees, for our dealers, for our clients, things like that moving forward. But I can't speak to any 2-year. No. But I can say right now at Autotrader is, traffic's up, engagement's up. On our Accelerate digital retailing product, we've seen record numbers over the last few months. Literally, we've never seen more consumers engaging with that product, and we've never seen more dealers asking to add that product to their website, to their VDP.
How long has that been out?
At least, I would say 2 to 3 years now. I remember the NADA when we launched it 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know exactly, but yeah, over the last few years, what we're seeing now, actually DR deals are up 276% right now. So
is that dealers buying digital retailing solutions or customers buying cars through digital retailing?
Customers engaging with the digital retailing tool.
Gotcha.
The stat that we've had with Autotrader, that it was like before COVID, I think 30% of shoppers were surveyed saying that they would go through a digital retailing process. And 60 days later from March, so like during COVID, that number jumped from like 36% to like 60% or something, a huge jump. What took 5 years in automotive, right? We've had digital retailing products for about 5 years, 6 years now out in the market. What took us to get 5 years to get to 30% took like 30 days to jump to 60. And the joke or the term I've been seeing all over the place is 10 years of digital growth in the last 3 to 4 months in automotive. This COVID really forced us to rip the Band-Aid off, and those dealers that were dragging their feet are adopting, solutions now and trying to, react to the conditions rather than be proactive.
Yeah. That's what dealers do best.
So, Kevin, maybe we can end on this question. Takeaway for people. So, you love the analytics, you love the stats. So, if there's a new or a better way to measure ROI in the CRM, what would you be looking at?
For me, it's just cost per engaged lead, like we were talking about earlier. It's not a quantitative metric, it's a quality metric. So like when I hear cost per lead, to me that's a red flag. And I understand there's value behind it. But like we were just talking about earlier, what's the engagement rate of those leads? Right? I'm sure you guys both have your stories. I know at the dealership perspective, vendor perspective, things like that. And in addition to that, the biggest thing is you're not getting the full insight in your CRM. Like if you don't have Google Analytics set up, or if you're not leveraging an Envision dashboard like with Autotrader to see those map views, to see Carfax reports, to see all of those buying signals that are not measured in one single CRM today, then you have a skewed insight into your marketing performance. And then the scary thing is you have dealers that are spending thousands and thousands of dollars a month off of that report. So it's skewed data in, skewed data out, and then wasted money. And it's just this vicious cycle. So focus on the quality, look at where you're getting those people on the phone, measure your close rates, your engagement rates, peel back into those layers a little bit, and understand the quality.
Yeah. As a dealer recently told me that he who has engagement will win. So couldn't agree more with you there.
Yeah, I mean, even Google's saying a lot of shoppers don't submit forms. No one likes to identify online in the first place. And then they know when they throw their name into a CRM in automotive, you're getting 3 auto responses, 5 sales reps reaching out, an OEM survey. It's just out of control. So, going back to the whole point here, it's experience, right? And if you're putting that customer experience first, whether it's texting, at-home delivery, all of those things, I think, you're going to win as a dealership.
Yeah, you got to actually talk to the customer to sell them.
You got to educate them and not create unnecessary roadblocks and friction to educate your consumer.
Well, Kevin, it's been a pleasure having you on, and this is the first time we've ever had Autotrader on Refresh Friday, and we look forward to seeing more Autotrader and Kelly Blue Book participation in Dealer Refresh.
Yeah, guys, we'll hopefully we'll be back soon with some more stories and some more data. I appreciate the invite, and enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Kevin.
All right, guys, take care.
See ya.
All right, take care.